Content writing and copywriting are not the same thing. And as a content writer, people have sometimes confused me with a copywriter. So in today's video, I'm going to explain the difference between the two so that you are no longer confused. Hey there, boss, it's Gina Ontra here, and on this channel, I talk about how to make a living with your writing and thriving as a creative entrepreneur. If you're new to this channel, you've never seen me before, you're welcome. I invite you to consider subscribing to join our community. All right, so before we get into anything, let's read the definition of what a copywriter is, and then I'll explain why that's different from content writing. Now, I pulled out the encyclopedia of the world, aka Google. I pulled up what copywriting means, and copywriting simply is the activity or occupation of writing the text of advertisements or publicity material. So as you can see, copywriters tend to write material that advertises, that publicizes, that ultimately markets and helps a company make sales. That's the big vision of a copywriter. Copywriter gets people, writes content, uses words and psychology to get people to take action, and usually that action involves buying something. That's what copywriters do. Copywriters may also write web copy that ultimately lead the client to become interested in what the company or what that business has to offer. So that's specifically what copywriters do. They write content that advertises, publicizes, markets, and sells. Content writers, on the other hand, even though having copywriting skills is absolutely important, the goal of a content writer is not always to sell. Content writers can write simple educational content. So it's content that educates people, that makes them aware of something. So for instance, when you go on WebMD, which is a very popular medical website that is used all around the world, it's on WebMD. WebMD is not necessarily trying to sell something. They're a largely informational website, but they do have content writers. They have people that are educated in these topics who read and ultimately proofread and publish these pieces of content. So those writers don't necessarily have the goal that, oh, I'm going to lead people to buy something, right? They have the goal of educating the individuals. Now, sometimes when you are a content writer, such as a blog writer, blogs tend to have the purpose of educating the potential client or customer and leading down some kind of funnel, right? So you may not directly be writing to get people to buy, but you are writing in such a way that it nurtures the relationship with that person that will eventually become a buyer. So in that sense, content writers are different from copywriters. Now, I do think that a very good content writer should have copywriting skills, should learn the words and the psychology behind the words that get people to take action. Now, both of these individuals, copywriters, I find that I've worked with a copywriter, and I find sometimes that copywriters, and this is no shade to them, okay, we all have our strengths, guys. We all have our strengths. There's place in the world for both of us. I find that copywriters are not always the best content writers because they think so differently and they are very sales and marketing driven. Whereas content writers also don't tend to make very good copywriters because we write in more of an educational tone, nurturing tone. It's different. Like, we have different voices and different goals with what we do as content writers, or as a copywriter. And I'm not saying that we couldn't cross over or do similar things, but copywriting is different from content writing. And so I hope this video helped you to clear that up. If you'd like to watch more videos on how to make a living with your writing, check out this video here that I did on how to become a freelance writer without any experience.